try not to trigger your AI defense golem while we talk this week's
Initial thoughts. Part 1. Initial thoughts. Part 1. Initial thoughts.
Hello, all my upper decker best of trekkers. We're here to talk about the anti-penultimate, yes, that's a word, episode of Lower Decks, Upper Decks. As it was in TNG's final season, we got an episode that showed us the life of Lower Decks ensigns. So too do we get an episode here about the Upper Decks command crew. Fun juxtaposition as we come close to the end of the show. But my first like for the episode is for our Lower Decks main characters carving jack-o'-lanterns. Rutherford is apparently really good at this, doing both the Cerritos and V'ger from the motion picture. Mariner's coming off a mission that feels like it would make a good graphic novel, where she apparently got trapped in a painting. Before joining the higher-ranking officers of the Cerritos, I have a like for Mariner and Boimler, making this great self-aware joke that they are the stars of the show. I had just asked on last week's Buffer Time podcast where Steve Stevens was this season, since we'd seen just about every other background character already, and here he is, apparently as the captain's adjutant. There's a lot going on in this seemingly routine staff meeting. Barnes is reverting from a virus similar to the one from TNG's Genesis, except here it simultaneously evolved and devolved her. She looks a lot like proto-hominid Riker from that episode. I've got a like for Billups canonizing the rocks that have a tendency to explode from ceilings and consoles, and even give them a technobabble reason for existing. Shax loses it during the meeting, and I'm not sure if he's always been like this, or if his inner demons only came to haunt him as a result of his experience on the Black Mountain. For the rest of the episode, he's literally fighting with himself while reliving the Battle of Tampasa from his days in the Bajoran Resistance, during which we get some small callbacks like a Dustbuster-style phaser, and what kind of looks like a coil brace used as a knife from TNG's Phantasms. Over in sickbay, we get the rarely seen Nurse Westlake, who just refilled the hypos for the next time a virus makes everyone sing or whatever. Nice little nod to Strange New World Subspace Rhapsody. He helps her work on new pain threshold protocols by torturing at her request, to the point that I have a like for her taking a phaser set to kill towards the end, and her replying, "So am I," and then mauling the click-it. Down in engineering, Billups is having a perfectly boring bagel kind of day, until panel 785 is removed, and then he has to deal with all kinds of stopgap measures he's added over the years, and it kinda feels like Miles O'Brien holding everything together with spit, duct tape, and chicken wire. It does give us the great line, "Everybody dies, but it's the engineers that really get to live." Meanwhile, in the cargo bay, Ransom gets Beta and Delta shifters to work more efficiently together by wrangling the Bagoons by simply seeming incompetent and letting them figure it out. There's a scientist sent here to study the Bagoons, which turns out to be a click-it trying to harvest their cloaking glands, but is in a disguise of a Grazonite, which is the same race as Federation President Jaroshinyo. Lastly, we follow the captain and Stevens as they tour the ship, watching performances by the crew. We had previously heard about Winger Bingston Jr.'s one-man stage show, and now we get to see a piece of it that includes a callback to TNG's The Next Phase about Geordi and Roe wandering. She also attends a fertility event, which turns into a birth by a male crew member. I have a like for the inclusivity here, with a balloon that says, "It's a life form," which also feels like a callback to the never-seen but often mentioned DS9 crew member, Vixel Pran, who was constantly said to be budding. With the help of Hominid Barnes and her sousaphone, they retake the ship, through Carol remembering in the beginning briefing that the Clickets hate flattery, and forces them off the ship through compliments. Let me give Freeman a like. I mean, the running joke of the show has always been that the Cerritos is the Starbase 80 of ships, with a bumbling captain. Carol has seen a lot of growth over these 5 seasons, and the last time she fit into that original incompetent mold was during last season's Cradle of Vexilon. And after all this, she's rewarded for her anniversary by a visit from her Admiral husband, and they spend it doing a We'll Always Have Paris callback on the holodeck. And we close the episode as we started it, cementing the joke with our Lower Deck main characters that nothing good ever happens unless they're involved. The ship was just taken over and almost exploded, but they are totally oblivious. Must have been a day spent repairing the Sequoia. A fun episode that I have no dislikes for. I mean, it's certainly not of the same top-tier caliber that the TNG episode Lower Decks was for that show, but serviceable as we learn a bit more about the command crew of the Cerritos. If you'd like more analysis, join me and my friends on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we dive deeper into the episode together on our podcast, Buffer Time, here on this channel. Till I see you again, I've been your host, Dustin Wing.